Trudy, and this is my dog Gus. Gus is a 5-year-old Australian Shepherd with adult onset deafness. This means that Gus is losing his hearing. Before Gus lost his hearing, he was a fully trained herding dog that I used to compete with in herding trials and use on our farm for daily farm chores. We raise both sheep and goats on our farm and use herding dogs for pasture rotation and for the herd health care of our animals. After Gus lost his hearing, he probably can't compete in trials or do the intricate driving patterns that he used to be able to do. But he can still do a lot of the gather work and farm chores that we need for around our farm. I taught Gus a series of hand signals and gestures, so we have a method of communication while working, so we can work together in the same ways that we always have done. I wanted to do a video to share some ideas with people who might be in a similar situation with a herding dog losing their hearing. Gus has a vibrating collar that I can use while working with him. The collar has only 2 settings, a vibration or a tone. Since Gus couldn't hear a tone, I only use the vibration setting when working with him. The vibration is not scary or painful. It doesn't shock or hurt him. I can hold the collar right in my hand and press the vibration, and I can just feel a gentle rumble. The idea of the collar is to have a method to get his attention if he were to not look at me and I needed to give him a signal. When he's working the livestock, he gets very focused on the livestock, and I need a way to get him to look away from them so I can give him a cue. I can put the collar right on him. He likes it. If anything, it makes him think he's going to get to go to work. When I first taught Gus to acknowledge the vibration of the collar, what I would do is every time I would vibrate the collar, I would give him a treat. This taught Gus that every time he felt a vibration, he knew to look to me for some type of reward or communication. Gus's basic hand signals are an arm straight in the air will ask him to drop. A flat palm out asks him to stay. And a sweeping gesture towards me is his recall. When working Gus on livestock, I can send him on an outrun to gather the stock and bring him to me by setting him up at my side and using my arm in a sweeping gesture to send him. Once he's facing me and bringing the livestock in my direction, I can further indicate direction changes by holding one arm out to the side or the other, indicating to him which direction I would like him to go. I can ask him for a stop by getting in his field of vision, raising my arm in the air, and indicating to him that I'd like him to lie down. I can ask Gus to do a full circle around the livestock by holding out one of my arms and motioning to him that I'd like him to continue his flank all the way around to the other side of the stock. Gus is trained to move away from my pressure, so if I hold out my left arm, he's going to move away from the left side of me and more towards my right. I can slow Gus down by holding up my hand palm towards him in a stop sign. I can encourage Gus to drive by patting my leg and calling him into the side of me. He can then wear back and forth, gently pushing the livestock in the direction that I am walking. If I need him to cross behind me, I give him a signal with my hand for him to switch sides from one side to the other. I can hold up my hand in a stop sign gesture to get him to slow down or ease up his pressure. the livestock, I use the same recall command that I did before, where I use my arm in a sweeping motion towards me, indicating to him that I'd like him to leave the livestock and come away from them with me. If I'm behind him and trying to give him a signal that he can't see, I can use my controller to vibrate his collar and indicate to him that I'd like him to look my direction so I can give him the next cue. I can have Gus move the sheep through a Y chute just like he would do in a trial using my same hand signals. This would be similar to putting livestock through a foot bath or through a gate as would be needed on a farm. Gus still has partial hearing in one ear, so I try to give him a verbal command alongside of the hand signal just so I can give him any help I can in a working situation. I can also use Gus to help me catch one of the animals if I were needing to check a foot or give him medication. He can hold the stock to me and distract them while I reach down and grab the one that I need to check. I can move livestock through gates from pasture to pasture with him just like I always could, using my hand signals and gestures to let him know when I want him to stop and when I want him to push them through. Since he was already fully trained before he lost his hearing, he took to these hand signals and training techniques very easily. Some of the first signs that Gus showed of hearing loss was not taking his whistle commands and not taking his commands at distance. Those things are both really easy to mistake for lack of obedience or training problems. And it's very easy to get frustrated with a dog thinking that it's being disobedient or not listening when really the dog is unable to hear the commands. Some of the later signs that Gus showed as his hearing loss progressed is he would be asleep and not wake up at things that the other dogs would wake up for. So an example would be he would be asleep in my car and I would get in the car, I'd open the door, and he would stay asleep even though all the other dogs would wake up and look at me. When I would take him on walks, all the dogs would be going one direction and change and go the other way, and it would take us a while before he realized that everyone changed direction. You can have your dog's hearing checked by a veterinarian with a bear test machine. They can give you an idea of what frequencies your dog can hear. If you do multiple tests over time, they can tell you if the hearing loss is progressive or staying the same. There is also a relatively new DNA test available to test your dog for the gene markers for adult onset deafness. If you have any suspicions of a dog having hearing loss, I would recommend getting their hearing checked as soon as possible. It can be really hard on a dog's confidence to be put in working situations when the dog can't receive the information they need to get the job done. It can also be really frustrating for a handler to watch their trained dog seemingly disobey or ignore commands that they were previously following really well when the handler is unaware of the reason the dog is doing this. Thank you for watching my video on working with a hearing impaired herding dog. Hopefully there's some ideas in the video that will give people some communication tools to use with dogs in similar situations. And hopefully this will give some people some hope with dogs that are losing their hearing due to adult onset deafness, that these dogs can still be helpful farm dogs and all the training we've put into them isn't at a loss. Thank you.